So I have a question for you. What really happens to the food when you eat it? Well, today we're going to talk about how to understand what's happening from the moment you take a bite all the way to the other end. So, first of all, this actually matters more than you think. Every single day we eat thousands of different molecules, carbohydrates, proteins, fats, vitamins, minerals, yet few of us, very few of us actually, truly understand what's happening after we swallow. So, for example, does protein turn into muscle? What's fiber doing as it travels through your gut? And why do some meals keep you energized and others for hours, and others just make you feel like you're crashing even before you eat your next meal? So, this is not random trivia. Understanding the journey of food inside your body is the single most powerful way to kind of cut through the nutrition noise and finally understand what your body needs. So, let's buckle up and let's follow a single bite of food as it travels through your body and watch the incredible transformation unfold. So, first of all, let's talk about your actual digestive system, right? This is a sophisticated assembly line. It's basically an unbroken chain of specialized stations, each with its own job. And the goal is to take the food that you eat and turn it into fuel and building materials for your body that it basically needs to survive. And here's really kind of the surprising part, I think, is that the process starts long before your first bite even hits your stomach. So just the smell or the sight of food can actually trigger your digestive system to prepare or prime itself, right? It releases saliva and it primes the stomach with acid. And by the time you actually start eating, your body is already hard at work behind the scenes. So let's start with the mouth because this is really where the magic begins. When you take a bite of a crisp apple, maybe it's sweet or tart, crunchy, but while you're focused on the flavor and texture, a hidden process is already in motion. Your teeth act like the first machines in a factory, right? It's breaking the apple into smaller and smaller pieces. And this isn't just to make swallowing easier. Chewing increases what we describe as the surface area of your food so that your digestive system has more to work with. So as you chew, saliva floods your mouth, mixing with the food. And saliva is more than just moisture, right? It's packed with these things called enzymes. Now, enzymes are tiny proteins that act like chemical scissors. So when one enzyme in particular called amylase begins breaking down starch, it's a type of carbohydrate into smaller sugar molecules that your body can then use for energy. Now, this means the process of turning food into fuel doesn't start in your stomach, right? But the very moment you begin to chew. And so that by the time you swallow, your body is already one step ahead. And this is why I often will encourage patients or individuals trying to lose weight to chew at least 20 to 30 times because this really helps break it down and it takes longer, allowing you to feel satiated when you do eat. Really interesting study on how to lose a significant amount of weight just by chewing your food longer. I think I did an article and a video about that. You'll have to check it out. I think it was titled How to Lose 11% of Your Body Weight or something like that. Next, we move on to the stomach, right? You can consider this like an acidic spa. Now, the chewed apple travels down the esophagus, right? It's that flexible muscular tube, and it drops into the stomach. And that's where everything changes because the stomach is a muscular bag and it churns with the strength of a cement mixer, right? It secretes things called hydrochloric acid. And this is so powerful that it could dissolve a razor blade given enough time, and it also releases some more digestive enzymes. Now, this acidic environment dismantles food and it also kills harmful bacteria that may have come along for the ride. Now, here proteins start to what we call unravel. So, picture a knot of ball, right? Or a knotted ball of yarn, loosening it into a straight thread. That's what acid does to protein. And once the strands are untangled, right, enzymes swoop in and cut them into their smallest parts, amino acids. These are the building blocks of your body, which we'll use later for repairs, growth, and countless other jobs. Now, the stomach also uses its muscles to mix everything together until a meal is transformed into a thick, soupy substance called chyme. And it doesn't release this mixture all at once. So instead, the stomach carefully meters out small amounts into the small intestine because the next stage is really where some really cool things happen. let's talk about the small intestine. And you can consider this like your master gateway. So if your mouth and stomach have prepared the food, the small intestine, where it really finally becomes you, right? This narrow winding tube is more than 20 feet long in adults. And it's lined with millions of little finger-like projections called villi, and then even tinier on top of each villi, microvilli. So you can picture a plush carpet or a dense field of grass swaying in the wind, and then all of this extra surface space is designed for one job, is absorbing nutrients into your body. But the small intestine can't do it alone. Let's talk about bile and enzymes when they kind of join the party. Your liver sends a special green fluid called bile into the small intestine. Now, bile works kind of a lot like a dish soap. It takes large fat droplets and breaks them down into smaller pieces so enzymes can reach every bit. At the same time, your pancreas delivers digestive juices loaded with enzymes. Now, these enzymes complete the final breakdown of a few things. Carbohydrates, right, into glucose, which is your body's really preferred source of quick energy. Proteins into amino acids, which are, of course, the raw building blocks your body uses to build and repair itself. And fats into what we describe as fatty acids and glycerol. And now these are for long-lasting energy and form the structure of every cell. Now that the food has been dismantled into its smallest usable forms, it then can cross those little finger-like projections we talked about into your bloodstream. And from here, nutrients get delivered to every cell in your body, ready to be used. But not everything gets absorbed here. So what's left behind? The parts of your food your body can't break down. Now this is an important thing because this is mostly fiber. And that's where the colon comes in. The colon and your microbiome are kind of like your forgotten kingdom. I know there's been a lot of talk about it, but there's a lot of amazing things that actually happen here. Most people think of the colon or the large intestine as nothing more than a trash chute, right? The final stop before waste leaves the body. But in reality, it's a thriving, complex ecosystem, and its importance to your health cannot be overstated. Your colon is home to trillions, and I said T, more than billions, trillions, of bacteria, viruses, fungi, collectively known as your microbiome. Now, these microbes outnumber your human cells and are so influential that scientists now consider it a hidden organ. They're not just freeloaders either, right? They perform their jobs so that your body just cannot do on itself. But let's talk a little bit more about the fiber, because this is really the fuel that those microbes depend on. So that by the time that your food reaches the colon, all the easily digestible nutrients have already been absorbed in the small intestine. And what's left is, of course, the fiber. And that's the part of plant foods that your body can't break down. But for the microbiome, fiber is a feast. And I said feast. It loves it. The bacteria in your colon ferment fiber and produce compounds called short-chain fatty acids, such as butyrate. Now, these, you can also call them SFFAs, we'll just call them short-chain fatty acids, nourish the cell lining your colon. They calm inflammation throughout your body, support your immune system. They even send signals to your brain to influence your mood and your appetite. And when you eat a diet rich in fruits and vegetables and beans and whole grains, you're feeding this hidden kingdom and helping it thrive. But when fiber is scarce because ultra-processed foods have replaced a lot of whole foods, your microbiome starves. And over time, that can lead to imbalances that affect everything from digestion to your immunity. So your colon isn't just a waste processing plant, right? It's a dynamic ecosystem that helps you keep healthy from the inside out. So now let's turn back to those nutrients, right? Because once those nutrients were absorbed into your bloodstream, each one plays a unique role in helping your body function at its best. So let's talk about the carbohydrates. This is, again, your body's preferred energy. Carbohydrates break down into glucose, right? That's the main fuel for your brain and your muscles. So you can think of glucose as cash in your wallet, and you can spend it immediately for energy or store some as glycogen in your liver and in your muscles for later. Now, when carbohydrates come from whole foods with fiber, glucose is really slowly into your bloodstream, giving you a steady kind of energy. Highly processed carbohydrates like white bread or sugary snacks, they hit your system really fast. You feel like a quick energy spike and then the crash, right? You get fatigue, cravings, and irritability. Now, where do you find healthy carbohydrates? Again, whole foods, whole fruits, vegetables, beans, lentils, whole grains. Now, let's talk about protein. This is, of course, what we call considered the building blocks. Now, proteins are broken down into amino acids, which circulate through your blood like construction materials, and your body uses them to build and repair muscles, make hormones and neurotransmitter, right? These are the chemical messengers that control mood, sleep, and metabolism, and also create antibodies and your immune cells. Now, without enough protein, your body can't maintain itself, and let alone let it grow stronger. Now, where do you find protein in your whole plant foods? Beans, lentils, tofu, tempeh, edamame, seitan, nuts, seeds, and other whole food sources. Let's talk about fat. This is your energy and cellular armor. Now, fats provide those long-lasting energy, but they also play a critical structural and protective role, building cell membranes which protect each cell and control what enters and leaves. You have cushioning organs like your heart and your kidneys, and also carrying vitamins A, D, E, and K, which need fat to be absorbed. So where do you find healthy fats? Avocados, olives, nuts, and seeds, and other whole food sources. So one other thing that we don't hear a lot about, we hear a lot about carbohydrates, proteins, and fats, but what about those micronutrients and phytonutrients? I consider these like spark plugs and bodyguards, because vitamins and minerals are considered micronutrients, and they're needed in tiny amounts, but they keep the whole system running. They help convert food into energy, support your immune system, maintain strong bones, and healthy blood. Now, phytonutrients are plant-only compounds that give fruits and vegetables their colors. They act as what we describe as antioxidants, and they reduce inflammation. So each color group offers unique benefits, which consider why you consider eating the rainbow so powerful. So where do you find these? Colorful vegetables, fruits, legumes, nuts, seeds, herbs, and spices. So then what happens once all this is absorbed into your cells? Well, now the glucose, amino acids, fatty acids, vitamins, minerals, and phytonutrients are all circulating in your bloodstream. They reach their ultimate destination, which is your cells. Your cells are like little bustling cities, right? They each with roads, they got blood vessels, waste systems, and factories. And at the heart of each city is a power plant called the mitochondria. Now, these little tiny structures take in the glucose and fatty acids and convert them into ATP, adenosine triphosphate. Now, this is the energy currency your body uses for everything from pumping your heart to repairing tissue. But energy production isn't the only thing happening here. You have amino acids, remember that we talked about, rebuild and repair the tissues. The fats strengthen and repair the cell walls. The micronutrients keep those chemical reactions humming along. And the phytonutrients protect cells from damage caused by everyday stress and free radicals. So when you eat whole nutrient-rich food, you're giving your cells everything they need to function their best, building blocks, energy, and protection. Now, ultra-processed foods stripped of fiber, micronutrients, phytonutrients often fall short. And I call these frankenfoods because they're not really foods, they're a chemical bag. You never even know what you're getting. Remember, every bite you eat becomes raw material for your cells, so the better the quality, the stronger and more resilient your body will be. So again, understanding what happens to the food inside your body just kind of cuts through the noise of nutrition headlines and fad diets. Carbohydrates, fats, fiber, vitamins, mineral, and phytonutrients aren't abstract, right? They're the essential parts your body needs to build and repair and thrive. So a plate of colorful vegetables and fruits, quality proteins, whole grains, legumes, nuts, and seeds doesn't just fill you up, right? It fuels your immune system, balances your energy, and strengthens your heart and your brain, supports every single cell. And here's the best part, this isn't about perfection. Once you see the full picture of how food becomes you, every meal becomes an opportunity to nourish your cells and feel your best. So there we go, guys. You've just followed a single bite of food from your mouth all the way to your cells, watching it transform into energy, building blocks, and etc. Now, again, you want to choose your whole foods in its most natural state. And to make this even easier, I created a nutrition decoder and meal builder worksheet, right? It's really a simple tool to help you build balanced meals without second guessing yourself. What you'll see is a link below that'll take you to Substack. Now, Substack is where I put out my newsletter several times a week, and you can get that by joining Substack. You can download this worksheet for free, and you'll get all the other things as well, all the past archives, a ton of worksheets, ebooks, everything that goes that I speak about here on YouTube is now being uploaded to Substack, because I have so many people saying, do you have a transcript of this? Of course, you can use this transcript from YouTube. It's a little clunky, but now these are actually articles as well, and I'm doing the podcast. You can hear them, you can watch them, you can read them, and get the worksheet. So it's a very valuable asset I'm trying to build. There's over almost 250 articles at this point on Substack, and thousands of readers have joined our Habit Healers community. So I'd love for you to join, and I hope to see you there. Thanks for listening. I'm Dr. Lori Marvis. Now, if you've ever taken a multivitamin, you've probably assumed it's giving you everything that you need. But the truth is, most women's multivitamins are filled with nutrients that you're already getting from your food, while skipping the ones your body really needs to thrive. And that's where the For Her Essential System comes in. I co-created the For Her Essential System with Complement, a science-backed supplement system that provides the essential nutrients women need for optimal health. It's designed to support hormonal balance, energy, bone health, and much more, with just the nutrients we struggle to get without the unnecessary fillers. What sets the For Her Essential System apart is that it is specifically formulated for women, with dosages based on the latest research, ensuring you get what you need, so you can thrive in everything you do, all day, every day. Now, to learn more and try it for yourself, visit the link in the description below and use the code for an exclusive discount. Take control of your health with the nutrients that matter most.